All right. So I am Lynn Stratton with the AGC. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we have Scott Friedman with us. He is a speaker and author with a sense of humor. He is past president of the National Speakers Association and is one of only 35 global speaking fellows in the world. For over 30 years, Scott has been traveling around the globe, sharing practical ideas on happiness, customer experience, and creating a happier, healthier future. Scott is the author of 4 books, including Celebrate, Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations, and A Celebration a Day, 365 Ways to a Happier, Healthier Workplace. Scott co-founded Together We Can Change the World, a nonprofit organization empowering and educating less fortunate children and women in Southeast Asia. Open your mind to new possibilities, as Scott will prove that the best way to predict the future is to create it.
You. If your life is crazy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, I saw some clapping out there. Yeah, I mean, we are at a crazy point, right? I mean, if you're like me, and I know I am, we're not in control like we'd like to be. And we all deal with pandemics a little bit differently, I think. I mean, this is my first pandemic, but depending on your circumstances, your perspective, and the stories that you tell yourself will really dictate how we get through this. And things happen the best for the people that make the best out of the things that happen. So for our short time together, what do you say that we put aside all drama for the next 30 or so minutes? Sound good? And laugh a little bit. Have some fun, because laughter is good for you. Laughter has no calories, no caffeine, no cholesterol, no MSG, no preservatives, no salt, no sodium, no sugar. It's gluten-free. It's vegan. It's paleo-friendly. And when you laugh, so much of you has a good time. So if something sounds funny, let's just go with it. George Leonard wrote the book Mastery. And in the book, he talks about people from different walks of life that he considers have reached mastery. One of the examples in the book is Jigoro Kano. Jigoro Kano is the founder of judo. And as the story goes, as Kano was old and close to death, he called all of his students around him, and he told his students he wanted to be buried in his white belt, the very first belt in judo, the emblem of the beginner. And it seemed rather humble of Kano to make this request. And I want to share with you Leonard's synopsis of Kano's request. He said, Kano's request, I eventually realized, was less humility than realism. For at the moment of death, the ultimate transformation is we are all white belts. And if death makes beginners of us, so does life again and again. For the master's secret mirror, even at the moment of highest renown and accomplishment, there is an image of the newest student in class, eager for knowledge, willing to play the fool. Are you willing to wear your white belt? Are you willing to be a beginner again? You see, Kano's request becomes our challenge. We are at a stage right now where agility is the #1 most desired quality in a leader. Most desired quality anywhere today, as we try to figure out what the next step may be. Are you willing to be a beginner again? Are you willing to wear your white belt? You see, comfort never produced greatness. Comfort never produced greatness. The true measure of success today is your ability to transition, for we are in one permanent state of impermanence. Eric Hoffer said, in times of change, learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will be beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. Alvin Toffler said that the illiterate of the future are not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's where we're at. See, there's 3 guarantees about change. Number 1, it's not going away, it's only coming quicker. Number 2, no matter how well planned for, change will never be trouble-free. And number 3, we are accountable for making it work. So why not enjoy the journey along the way as we create the future? Now, neuroscience and the research that's been done in the last few years remind us that we are put on Earth to minimize danger and to maximize reward. We are really put here to be happy, to happy dance. But then stress, pressure, COVID-19 sneaks in and ruins our little happy dance. So what is the antidote to all of this stress? Well, I believe that it is vitamin C. Vitamin C is in celebration. Your daily dose will make you more grateful, more joyful, more excited about everyday life. And that will keep us in step with our community. Now, as Caricelyn mentioned, the last 2 books I wrote were a book called Celebrate Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations. Followed it up with a book called A Celebration a Day, 365 Ways to a Happier, Healthier Workplace. And in the books, we define celebration as acknowledging what is good, the good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's celebrating, acknowledging the little and the big milestones along the way. You see, celebration is really just an attitude. It's a philosophy about life. It's the lens through which we see our world. And if you can change your lens, you can change your language, you can change your life. You see, the way that we label our language impacts our thoughts and our behavior. Look at the difference between the word deadline and finish line. I don't want to achieve any goal with the word dead in it. Yeah, we finished right on time on Tuesday, but in the process, Bob and Kurt are dead. I mean, that's a heavy price to pay for success, wouldn't you say? Finish line implies that there's going to be some sort of celebration when you get to the end. We interviewed the country manager for Federal Express in Malaysia. And he sets these audacious sales goals, and he encourages his team, in order not to feel the fear of trying to accomplish these big goals, is to focus on the feeling that they will have when the goal is finished. The feeling of accomplishment, the excitement, the wonderful way that they're going to embrace that finish line. And then the key also is to celebrate, acknowledge the little milestones along the way. That way you don't get so caught up in what the problems are. You're more focused on the solutions and celebrating those little milestones along the way. So my first request of you is to change the word deadline to finish line and see if you notice any difference as you're going about accomplishing that task. Sound good? All right, when we were doing research for the books, 3 things came up that really made the difference in engaging employees, creating connection, making celebration effective. And number 1 is gratitude. And gratitude is simply a thankful feeling for the life that we have and those that we share our lives with. It's the gratitude of being able to serve and being thankful for those that we serve with. Next is play. Play is simply living in the present moment. It's being able to let go of any anger or resentment of the past, and to truly live in the state of play or the state of flow, the state of being. Positively live in the present. And then third is surprise, the element of the unexpected. The reason celebration fails in organizations today, the reason that we have trouble engaging our workers, is because we don't take a fresh approach to the way that we appreciate people. Surprise is all about catching people doing good things and creatively recognizing them for that. It's finding out what intrinsically motivates people by asking, by paying more attention. Finding out what's highest on their joy list and giving them a little bit more of that. So if you look at those three words, gratitude, play, and surprise, and you take the first letter of each word, what do we come up with? GPS. So my recommendation to you is that you don't get out of bed in the morning without turning on your GPS. I mean, sometimes we can't wait to get out of bed for whatever reason. Other times, maybe it's a little bit more difficult. That's when we need to hear that lady's voice in our heads. I think many of us know her by Siri. And what does Siri say?
Recalculating.
Ah, sure enough.
Turn left ahead, and you will have reached your destination.
Yep.
Unless you want to continue being a stupid jerk with a crappy attitude, in which case your destination will be a crappy life. Good luck with that.
So Siri's got a little bit of an attitude, but I think she makes a good point. I mean, in the most simplistic of terms, crappy attitude, good chance your future will be a crappy life. Attitude of gratitude, happy life. So as we go to create the future, and we truly want to use our GPS to end up in the destination that we wanted to create for ourselves and enjoy the journey, we need to make sure that the GPS stays turned on. So this is the foundation of the program. And we need an anchor, some sort of motion, so that when things get tough, that we are reminded to keep the GPS turned on. So the universal sign for play is the old hang loose. Give me a little hang loose if you would. Everybody, come on. Crystal, thank you. All right, in Hawaiian they call that shaka. Shaka means chill out, relax. I'll take care of you, you take care of me. Live life in gratitude. Live in the present moment. Honor people with what's highest on their joy list. That's what GPS represents. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a question. The answer is GPS with the motion like you really mean it. Okay? All right, too much stress? GPS. All right, you can do better than that. Thanks, Mark. You were good. Life's a mess. GPS. COVID-19 duress. GPS. All right, we'll play with it a little as we go along. I think you'll catch on. All right. So first is gratitude. Gratitude needs to come from the heart and not the head. Abundance flourishes in a grateful heart. I believe the single most important determinant of your future well-being is how well you practice gratitude. You want to get rid of any negative emotion in your life? Find the gift. Practice gratitude. Very powerful. So how do you change an attitude to an attitude of gratitude? You know, an attitude, another dark, dreary, dreadful day in the contracting dungeon of doom. You know people like that, right? All right, how do we change that to an attitude of gratitude? I think it starts from the moment we wake up. You wake up, you start to worry about or feel some pressure for the tasks at hand that day. before you think any thoughts, get in the habit of asking yourself just one simple question. What do I have to be grateful for today? You check your obituary section, your name's not there. It's going to be a good day. When we count our blessings, we have so many more blessings to count. So start your day by recognizing something that you're grateful for, a few things. And then before you go to bed, the same thing. Makes us more positive, helps us sleep better, programs ourselves for less physical and mental strife simply by practicing gratitude. Very, very powerful. The best of the best. Mary Laverty used to be a member of a mastermind group that I was in. We were, for about 20 years, we would start off every meeting with the best of the best. We would share what's good in our lives. For Mary, when she was having dinner every night when her kids were in school, she would start off dinner with the best of the best. What good thing happened at school today? And the kids knew that they were not going to eat until they came up with something positive. And she taught her kids to scan their lives for the positive. How many of us know people that scan their lives for the catastrophic? I mean, my mom's 85. If we have dinner these days, we play the game, guess who died today? Mom, I hate that game. Can we play something else? Guess who's about to die? No, Mom, let's play best of the best. It's a great way to start off meetings, especially during COVID-19 when there's a lot of uncertainty and there's some fear out there, and just to be able to focus on the positive just for a minute or so. Or maybe I see organizations today that they start off meetings, maybe even with a couple minutes of meditation, as crazy as that may sound, just to calm people and center people a little bit. Or if people want to talk about something, they need to get something out. It's a great way to show that you care during a more tense time. But a version of the best of the best, to talk about what's working before you start to talk about what may not be working. Great for receptions, great for parties, really just about any event, the best of the best. I challenge you to bring that into your life in some way. In fact, right now in the chat box, if you would, and if you don't have that chat box pulled up, go under More where there's 4 dots, and you'll see Chat. So pull that up if you would. You'll see the word welcome in there for me, and then just chat something that you're grateful for. One of the gifts from COVID-19. What is it? What are some of the blessings, or at least one blessing in the chat box? And you just type on the bottom there. I'll give you a moment. Yeah, good. Spending more time with family. Love that. Okay. Slow down and enjoy life. Thank you, Lori. Being more grounded. Thanks, Mark. All right. All right, so I've given you 2 instructions so far to take away from the program. The word deadline to finish line and the best of the best. How can we incorporate that into our lives? Harvard psychiatrists created an app called Track Your Happiness. Wanted to find out when people in life are the most happy, the circumstances that cause happiness. And as you may guess, spending time with family and friends, shopping, exercise, good music were on the list. But what he found was it's not so much the circumstances we find ourselves in, but the thoughts that we are thinking at the time of the events of our life. If you want more happiness in your life, then we need to look through the eyes of gratitude at our present circumstances and the past. If you look through the eyes of anger and resentment at your present and past, that shows up as anger, resentment, and fear in your future. If you look through the eyes of gratitude, it shows up as hope and faith in your future. So look at the stories that you tell yourself. Look at how you define the situation that you may find yourself in right now. The quickest way to more happiness in your life is simply by playing the game, what's the gift? If there was some silver lining in any daily challenge that you have, if there was some lesson to be learned, something good, what would that be? If we look for the gifts, if we look through the eyes of gratitude, then we live a life of gratitude, of more hope and faith, and good things happen. Less disease, more happiness. There's an old Buddhist prayer that states, "Grant that I may be given appropriate difficulties and sufferings on this journey, so that my heart may be truly awakened, and my practice of liberation and universal compassion may be truly filled. For it is felt that if we have no struggles in life, we have no opportunity for genuine growth." Anybody feel like you have too many opportunities for genuine growth? Yeah. You see, it's not happiness that makes us grateful, but it's gratefulness that makes us happy. Give me a little GPS for gratitude, if you would. All right. Thank you. Okay, next is play. And play is accepting our current reality, all those expectations and demands that are placed on us and we place on ourselves, all of the pressure, stress, all the heartache that we have in our lives, and still be able to turn on the old GPS. Play starts with a good sense of humor. How many would say you have a pretty good sense of humor? Oh, come on. Okay, how many used to have a good sense of humor? How many have never had a sense of humor, but you think somewhere there may be some hope? Good. All right. If I wanted my dad to lose his sense of humor when I was growing up, all I would do is have to bring home my report card. Junior high school, worst grades ever. He beats me in the mailbox, dinner time, pulls out my report card. He says, "Scott, what is this?" I said, "Dad, it's one person's opinion. Do we have to talk about it?" One person's opinion. Yeah, he says, "How come Andy doesn't get C's and D's on his report card?" Andy was one of my best friends growing up. I could never quite measure up to Andy. I said, "Hey, Dad, you can't compare me to Andy. We are so much different." "Oh, are you? How are you so much different?" I said, "Dad, Andy has very bright parents." Took me a long time before I could sit down and laugh at that. Oh, but we do. We have opportunities to lose our sense of humor every single day, don't we? Siri, what would possibly cause this illustrious group of contractors and suppliers to lose their sense of humor? What could that possibly be?
Running out of patience, running out of money, running out of talented subs, kids getting on my nerves, wondering when school will start up again, wondering when this will all be over, getting scolded every time I touch my cards at blackjack, the curve not flattening like it should be by now, the guy at the supermarket coughing on the last head of lettuce, Nevada tax base deteriorating because of lack of gaming revenue, social unrest, economic unknowns, kids at home going stir crazy, trying to learn to cook and having to eat my own meals, fear of getting infected, fear of infecting others, fear of losing my mind, the speed of the internet being painfully slow, coming to the realization that I married the wrong man, not knowing if I have a fever or hot flashes, feeling anxiety, staff doing inappropriate posting on Facebook, uncertainty, worrying about the state budget being cut, people violating my space, my mask not matching any of my wardrobe, wishing I could trade in my family for a new puppy.
So I guess at this time there really are a fair amount of things that can cause us a little bit of stress. But humor may be one of the best ways to play a little bit more and to provide an emotional distance away from that stress. About 9 years ago, I started a Facebook group called Celebration at Work. But in the last 4 months, I have turned that group into kind of more of a humor group, really, to to give us some release from our everyday situation or drama that we may have, and had some real fun with it. And there, there's some great online humor, some different groups, but I would recommend and I would invite you to join me at mine. I'm going to want to share some of my more favorite posts in the last couple months. 2020, written by Stephen King, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Anybody like on this, on a Zoom call? Yeah, that's probably what's going on when they won't turn on their camera, right? Okay, that's kind of fun. Reminds you to put on your mask. Mary, do you accept John as your lawfully wedded husband? If you do, press enter. If you don't, press escape. Escape quickly. Social distancing myself from the refrigerator so I can flatten my curve. Wife, did I get fat during quarantine? Husband, honey, you were never really skinny. Time of death, 8:14 a.m. Cause of death, coronavirus. All right, anybody do this on the Zoom call right now? No? Sometimes, yeah. Never buy a mask at a thrift store. Oh, brother. Okay. Yes, COVID-19 is pretty scary, but have you ever flooded the toilet at someone else's house? I mean, that's really scary. Government reopening guidelines. I think we can probably relate to this pretty well. Mom, how do I stop the class video call? Anybody seen anything interesting on any of your Zoom calls that you like to report in? I'm having a quarantine party this weekend. None of you are invited. If you keep a glass of wine in each hand, you can't touch your face. There's some good advice. And then some more on the inspirational side. Life is not waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Tibetan proverb, the secret to living well and longer is eat half, walk double, laugh triple, and love without measure. All right, make the choice to add a little bit more humor in your life. See, the highest form of humor is the ability to laugh at ourselves. The lowest form of humor is making somebody else a target of a joke. But if we can laugh at ourselves, in a sense, what we're saying is we accept our flaws and our foolishness, our idiosyncrasies and our imperfections. And then people can't laugh at us. They have to laugh with us. If you can laugh at yourself, you will always have something to laugh at. And the older we get, the more there is to laugh at. Other people are laughing at you, so why not you? Jack Welch created an amazing learning environment at General Electric. He said that a big piece of that was he taught his workers to take their work seriously, but take themselves lightly. I think that's great advice. Are you taking yourself lightly? There's two important questions. One is, have you decided you want it to be fun? We don't want to go through life like this little kid. And right now seems like a fairly dark time in American history, or in the world history for that matter. And, many people think that they should be down during these times or just, kind of ride the storm out. But why not enjoy it? Why let a good pandemic go to waste? Why can't we find the fun? Simply by asking ourselves the question, what are we doing to make life more fun? What are we doing to make work more fun? How can we bring a little bit of joy into other people's lives? Quickest way to cheer you up is to cheer somebody else up, to have a little bit more fun, use a little bit more humor, live in the moment, turn on that GPS. All we really need to do is get a little bit creative. Yeah, what do we do to get more creative? Toss It Tuesdays is a company in Denver called Design Force. What they do is every Tuesday they provide a couple heads of lettuce and some different salad dressings. Then everybody brings in their favorite toppings for a salad. avocados, chicken, croutons, tomatoes, whatever. And then they have like a little salad buffet. And they know, the staff, that from the last time they met on Tuesday, they're going to have to come up with at least one idea on Toss It Tuesdays to either better the employee experience or the customer experience. Something to add value to their work, right? So they're encouraged to look at their interaction with their favorite brands. What did they learn from Amazon maybe this week? Or what did your favorite store? Maybe you saw something on a movie. Maybe you visited a restaurant this week. You saw a play, you read a book. So it's coming up with one idea so that they get all kinds of great ideas from their team, their workers. So that we're always trying to think of how can we get better? How can we add more value? It's a great way to live. I mean, you look at what AGC of Nevada is doing for the members. I love the way that they provide the hand sanitizers and masks, and they're up-to-date information all the time, the go-to source for COVID-19, and constantly figuring out how can they better the member experience. How can you better the employee experience, the customer experience? Little Toss It Tuesdays. You see, great value, a good idea, is a moving target. Linus Pauling said the best way to come up with a good idea is to come up with lots of good ideas, because today's wow becomes tomorrow's expectation. So we continually have to look for tomorrow's wow, and then the wow after tomorrow. How can we continue to add value to what it is that we do every day? How many have seen The Shawshank Redemption? Great movie, wasn't it? Oh, good. Everybody that I can see. Nice. Yeah, two main characters in the movie, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. Morgan Freeman is Red, Tim Robbins is Andy. And as the movie gets on a ways, Red and Andy are having a conversation in the prison yard. And most of the movie takes place in prison. And Red and Andy are, Red is complaining about the future, the fear of the future. He's been in prison 40 years. He's up for parole for the third time. But this time it really looks like he's going to get out. And he's scared to death. He doesn't know what it's like on the outside anymore. And as he's complaining to Andy, Andy turns to him and he says this. He said, it all comes down to a simple choice. You either get busy living or you get busy dying. That's great advice as we approach the future, right? I mean, right where we are right now. No, we can approach the future. We can fear it. We can ignore it. We can deny it. We can just accept it, or we can anticipate it. We can imagine it. But the best way to predict the future is to create it by making good choices, learning from our choices, and making new choices, and keeping our GPS turned on along the way. It's getting excited about the future. It's coming up with what our new normal or new abnormal is going to look like. And as we return to a new abnormal, ask yourself, which parts of normal shall I never return back to? It's a wonderful time to get rid of bad habits, to clean our lives out for those people that no longer serve us in our lives, to reimagine and reinvent who we are and what our career may look like. Love what Goethe said. He said, whatever you can do or think you can, begin it, because boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Nice. Okay, give me a little GPS for play, making sure that we keep our sense of humor and look for playful rituals, a chance to get creative as we better the employee and the customer experience. Great.
This is your pilot speaking. My name is Adrian Oberhensli. I'm working from home today.
All right, not a good place to be working from home. Well, surprise. So surprise is all about lifting people up and not letting them down. It's truly finding out what motivates people, what's highest on their joy list. I had a chance to speak at the Taj Sumatra Hotel, as you see here in Colombo, Sri Lanka, a few years back. And I checked into my room, and on my bedside table was this photograph in a picture frame. I founded an organization called Together We Can Change the World in 2008. And this particular picture is of 8 kids that were basically rescued from Myanmar. We built a home in Wang Papau, Thailand, halfway between Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. And these kids are the most loving, the nicest kids that live there, that I feel so bad for their past. I see this photo and I'm thinking, oh, I mean, how do they even know about Together We Can Change the World? I mean, how do we learn about anything today? We can Google, right? Or Facebook or Instagram. So they probably went to my website and there was a link to Together We Can Change the World. They saw some pictures. They right-click on that picture. They copy the photos. They send it to a service or just, print it out, put it in a frame. Voila. I mean, it's so easy to make connection today. I mean, and this is such a good idea, because what people post on Facebook or Instagram, many times if you have family pictures, or you can see the emotion in some of these pictures, and those are the great pictures. So I'm thinking, wow, what a great idea. I'm going to take this idea. So I created my own little mugshot surprise, started putting all kinds of photos on coffee mugs, and then surprising people with the coffee mugs. This is a friend of mine here in Denver named Deb Fine in the white dress. Husband Steve's on one side, and her daughter on her wedding day, Sarah, with her husband, or husband at that moment, Eric. I see that photo and I'm thinking, now that's such a great photo of everybody, right? I'm thinking that's coffee cup worthy. So I always wait for a sale at Vistaprint or Shutterfly. At 50% off, it cost me less than $10, and that's including shipping. Not quite a bargain. And so Deb and I are at a meeting in Keystone, Colorado. And Deb is drinking out of the coffee cup with that photo on it. And it took her like 20 minutes to figure out that was the photo. And she sees the photo. She kind of double takes for a minute. And then she lets out a scream. I go, what? She goes, look at this. This photo is from Sarah's wedding. She goes, the nerve of the photographer for promotional purposes without asking permission. I go, well, maybe it didn't happen just that way, but it's so much fun for, it's not a lot of money, but it shows that you care, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and it doesn't really even take that much creativity, but the payoff is big, because at the end of the day, the quality of life is determined by the quality of our relationships, right? And being in the kind of industry that you're in, if you can solve problems or lessen the impact by treating people well along the way, by sprinkling them with a trail of tangible, fun items, not that much, even a coffee cup once in a while, or a T-shirt with something that makes a difference to them, that shows that you paid enough attention and that you care. Luciana de Crescenza said that we're all angels, but with only one wing. And only by embracing each other, we fly. Never forget how many people you help to fly. So as we end today's program, I want you to take a little pledge with me. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name, promise to look for the humor in life's inconveniences. And I promise to turn on my GPS and to give myself permission to be happy. Because I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And I don't care if people like me. I like me. I am awesome. Love you. GPS! Thank you very much. All right, I want to make you a little offer here. If anyone would like 1, 2, or all 3 of these books, on the left side of your screen, you see scott@scottfriedman.net. Just send me an email, and I will be happy to send you 1, 2, or 3 of these books electronically for free. Just for taking the time out to spend time with me and AGC of Nevada as compliments from AGC of Nevada. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to Chrislyn.
Oh, thank you so much, Scott. Does anybody have any questions for Scott? You can chat him or you can just unmute yourself if you'd like. No?
Okay.
Well, thank you, Scott. It was a great presentation. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks so much. I hope to hear from some of you, and I'll be happy to send you those books. All right.
Awesome.
Best of success with everything.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Melinda.
Take care.
All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye.